Sometimes the loudest pressure doesn't tell you to quit. It tells you to keep moving before you've asked where you're going. More can look like ambition. Faster can feel like progress, while your values quietly ask whether this pace can hold you. Sara Reece knows that question personally. Her career didn't follow one straight line, and neither did the insight she carries now. Her path included journalism, environmental research, and professional dog training. Then came operations and technology.
Today, Sara co-founded and leads Helping Service Businesses Operations. She has designed automation systems for franchises, small businesses, and Fortune 500 companies.
She wrote The Practical Path to Operational Automation. Her conviction is clear. AI initiatives succeed or fail.
That belief reaches beyond business. Sara also asks whether the path she's building still matches her values.
Attention isn't ambition versus complacency. It's automatic acceleration versus intentional movement, with values helping decide what comes next. In business, she asks whether the operation is ready. In life, she asks whether the pace still honors the person carrying it.
Sara brings ambition, alignment, and a question worth holding. Sheryl, Sara, Joy Squad, let's welcome Sara Reece.
Sara.
Hey.
Hello there. Good morning, lady. How are you?
I am doing so good. Good morning to Sheryl. Good morning, everyone.
Where are you coming to us from, my friend?
I am in Utah, which
And what time is it?
right now it is look at it, it's 6:50 a.m. But
It's early. It's early.
No stress. We had I have my business partner is based in Bangkok. So I actually had a 4 a.m. meeting my time with him just because of time zone differences. So yeah, so early mornings, ironically, I used to hate them, but now they are my life. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, good. I feel so much, I feel so much better. I always forget, my guests are from everywhere. And so to be here this early in the morning, I really appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you so much. Welcome to Starts with Joy.
I'm so excited.
I know.
Anyways, no, I love the show. I love watching it. It's been an absolute joy. And I've had my down days. I definitely will turn on an episode and just remind myself it's okay. If there's joy beats in, just breathe. It's going to be all right.
Thank you. I thank you so much. So squad, I have to give you a little background. It's not in Sara's intro, but Sara and I and Dwayne and Sharon, my sister Sharon, we all met in Miami. And that was in April?
Yeah, it was April. Yep.
Yeah. So we were at the Miami Business Show. I think that's what it was called. It was a small business expo. And Dwayne and I were setting up like the backdrop and all that kind of stuff. Well, actually, really, Dwayne was setting it up and I was just, directing. And Sara, so Elisa,
yeah.
I always get it wrong. Elisa, and came over to us, and it was just kind of like, because your stuff hadn't arrived yet, right?
Right, yeah. No, I think our stuff arrived like 15 minutes before we had to leave. Like, it was so late. So, yeah.
You were so calm about it. You were so calm. And so Elisa came over, and it's like, can we help? And then you came over, right?
Yeah.
And that was it.
We just became friends.
Yeah.
My favorite one was sneaking into CVS because we were like, we're going to buy plants. We're going to buy contraband candy because we weren't supposed to bring candy in with us. And then as we get there, Sheryl, Sharon, and Dwayne are there with their plants and their contraband candy that they're all buying.
Yes, and it's so funny because Sharon wasn't there originally when we met, and we saw you, Alicia, and then your sister was
Naomi,
there.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Naomi was there. And we were like, hey, and we're hugging and we're everything. And so then we said goodbye. And Sharon's like, oh my God, you didn't tell me that you knew folks who were going to be here. I was like, oh no, we just met early. We just met. And she's like, what? I'm so confused.
But it was so much fun. I remember being excited because both of us had bonded over the fact we were waiting for our sisters to show up. And then I was like, and we were like, your sister arrived, so did yours.
And that's been it ever since. One of the things that I absolutely love about being like just experiencing life, if you just allow yourself to be open to it, is the amazing, incredible people that you can meet along this journey. And you are certainly one of them for me. So I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, right back at you. It is a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Sara, Zola tried to do a good job, but it's always better when it comes from the person. Talk to us. Tell us about who you are and what you're doing and why I find you so fascinating.
Well, a little bit about me. I mean, fascinating. I once had my best friend's mom growing up. My brother went to go get me. We were doing something, and he's like, "It's time to go." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sad Sarah's leaving." And he's like, "Well, and we love her." And he's like, "Well, I have to love her because I'm related. Why do you love her?" And my friend's mom pauses. It was like the longest pause of my life. And she's like, "Well, she's unique."
It's like, is that a good thing or not?
Know,
right?
Like, how are you really feeling about me here, Rhonda? But I look at it, and my life has been unique. When I was 18, I thought I was going to become a performing musician. I played tuba, which sounds funny, but I love it. But things changed. I went into radio, and then I got into journalism, and I worked as a journalist for a while, and then something shifted, and I went into aviation for a bit. Then I came out of aviation, and it's crazy because as I go through this, like, life happened. I had a good friend once, she's walking through, she's like, "How did this happen?" I walked through each situation. She's like, "So life happened and you had to find a way to adjust." I was like, every time. That's what's happened. And so I smile because my sister Naomi finds it hilarious. If I once made her my full resume with everything I'd ever done. I think she has it somewhere, but she's like, "How did all this come to be?" But I look at it because a lot of times something throws something at you, and you have to find a way to adjust. You have to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
But with today's and so it's been so much fun. But like with today's topic that we were talking about, like, yes, you can move forward and run, but that's not necessarily where you want to be going. I always love, there's an analogy, I've used it for years, which is, yes, if I start at one position and I'm on a giant cruise ship, and I make an adjustment like just a degree to the right.
Yeah.
Then in 6 hours, I'm going to be further off course than I ever meant to be. I'm still moving forward. I didn't go this way. And one of the big things the last 5 years, up until we started WorkMind, my coworker, myself, and our COO all worked for a company, and we worked with Fortune 500 companies, helping them automate their internal systems. And I would be in those meetings, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, well, we want to automate this." And I'd be like, "Okay, why?" And like, "Well, because we can." And I'm like, "But you shouldn't." Like, this is something that, no. And then a couple of years ago when OpenAI came out and the LLMs really started making it large, people like, "Well, we want to use LLMs." And the same question would come out to, "Why?" And people would be like, "Well, because," I'm like, no, because they have their place. They have things that are wonderful that they can do. They're very effective, but you also have times where you need to either just build a very good software, very deterministic is the term that gets used in the tech world, where this has been coded to do this. And then sometimes you still need a person. There are times to find this. That is part of the automation process as well, is not just throwing it to AI or an LLM. It is also knowing when to have a person involved or when to have just traditional coding involved. And so it's kind of fun, but it's also, it runs into that of, just because I can run 1,000 miles in this direction, that's not the direction I want to be going. And I mean, Sheryl, when I read your book, I told Sheryl this, and I think I put on a post on LinkedIn once. I read her book for the first time after the Miami show, and I was on a plane with lots of people, and I am not a crier. And I read her book, and I just burst into tears. And my friend Elisa, who was with us and she helped us with the show, she was there, and she knows me. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I feel so seen, because you do this. You go into these corporate worlds, you do these things, and there's so much culture and things that you get caught up in. And that fear really does drive. Like, you do not want to be replaced. You do not want to be thrown out in a way. And sometimes you work with these people who make you feel that you are very replaceable.
Oh yeah, especially today.
Oh yeah, especially today. Like, "Oh well, we can do this." Or, I mean, I'm going to be at a conference in Denver next week. And one of the conversations that we're having there, and I'm on a panel for, is discussing the role of automation. Because a lot of people think that they're like, "Well, we can just replace all our employees." And like, you can't. You need them. but
Oh my.
you can amplify what they do. You can make things better for them, for sure. And you can make it so that one person can do what it used to take 3 people to do, but you need to do that responsibly. You need to make sure it's set up correctly. Like there's 2 contrasting examples. I like to talk to people. So when I got stuck in Dallas, I'm sure most people here who've flown through have been laid over in Dallas at some point or the other. And I had to go get a hotel room, drive with my Uber driver, and we're talking, and he was finishing up his master's degree and something. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. He's like, yeah, I used to be in tech. I was like, really? Because I actually own a tech company. Talk to me. And he's like, I hate AI. And I'm like, further interesting for me. Please continue, explain. And he was a senior developer, and he'd been working for this web company. And their senior staff had been presented this something tied to one of the LLMs on I don't know exactly which product it was, but basically like, yeah, you can get rid of half of your staff today. And look at how great this is. And so it was supposed to do all this coding. So they fired half their staff instantly. And the other half who stayed on were now trying to learn this new tool. They were trying to take on the workload the other half had already been doing, plus what they were doing on top of it. Now, the tool did not deliver the way they thought it was going to deliver. Mm-hmm. And people started leaving, and it was a nightmare. I honestly do not know if the company is still in business. But to me, that was, no. You want to slow this down. And when I be responsible, that was somebody who they said, let's just sprint for it. And they got off that 1 degree, and they went somewhere they didn't mean to go. On the other hand,
No, I gotta, sorry to interrupt you. I have to ask you this question. Are you so because of what you do? Yeah. I mean, you help organizations, you help companies to bring this technology in.
Yeah.
Are you as a founder and CEO, are you alone in your approach and your mindset when it comes to, don't run, let's walk and maybe jog?
In my experience, when I talk to other professionals who are in my mindset, where I've at, it is almost a 50-50 split.
Okay.
And where I find the split is, so when I started before LLMs in this space. We were using NLU, Intense, bunch of other type of, I'm trying not to get too nerdy or technical. And then these came in, and the people who are like, well, we're rushing to do everything, are the people who came in with the LLMs, because they are really caught up into the theory and the excitement of what can be.
Right.
The thing I find is that a lot of us that started before then, what we're seeing is, yes, we understand the technology, but we also understand its limitations. There are things it reasonably can do, and there are things it should not do right now. And in 5 years, there's still going to be things it should not do, because it's not just a capability question in my mind. There's also an ethics to it. And there is a balance between the two. And what I have personally seen is that the companies who balance that, where they're like, yes, these are the capabilities and these are the ethics, those are the ones who are applying it and actually thriving with it.
Oh, okay.
When you jump into the let's replace everybody mindset, you have a problem. One of the things like we run into, like with my company WorkMind, we have an agent that we've built that it's not a rip and replace. It overlays whatever proposal system your company's using. And it for like a home service company, like painting or like flooring. And it allows an estimator just to go through the job and say, okay, here's what I'm seeing. Here's my measurements. Here's what I've got. And because it's able to be configured by headquarters, they know it will prompt them like, hey, you forgot to let me know, like, what's their crown molding? We need to make sure we have that for this, or, hey, you may have missed this as well. But then the estimator does their job. They go through the house, they get the measurement, they talk to the person, they build the rapport. The agent captures everything they're saying. It builds out their proposal the way it's supposed to be in their actual proposal system. Okay. And what that does is I had one guy who we've worked with, who he was going home for 4 hours after each bid, and he had to go through and make sure everything was done correctly because of how complicated it was. But now instead of doing 1 to 2 bids a day, which is what he could max handle because of what he needed to do to build out the bid properly, he can now do 4 or 5 bids a day, and things are handed, and the bid is given to the person before he leaves the house. And what it did is, rather than replacing him, it's amplified him. It's made it so he can do his job. He is great at building rapport. He is great at knowing the details he needs to look for. He's got that. but now he can be amplified and he can do a lot more in his job than he could before. And that's, in my mind, that's where you start running into it. And especially when it goes to how fast can we run? I mean, you've got these things going on, and AI, I love it. It's fantastic. I always have to be careful. Because, are you anti? I'm like, no, I love it. I use it all the time.
It's like, it's my business.
It's my business. In fact, yesterday I was building a one of the things I've done is software engineering. I was like legit building a plugin for my Motion that I use to GPT so I could connect the two. And it was great because it helps me be more on top of things. I am prepared. I know what I'm doing for each and every meeting. Everything's up to date. I make sure I'm not missing any commitments I made to clients or to my partners I work with. I'm like, and that's great. But the next question I always have to ask, and it's very important, is why am I doing what I'm doing? Why does this need to be automated? And there were some things I was smiling with my girls because I've got 3 girls, 5, 7, and 9. They're cute.
Oh yes, they're cute. They're beautiful.
Oh, they are. And they're adorable. And they are feisty as all get out. But I was talking with one of them. I think it was my 9-year-old, because she likes to ask all the philosophical questions. And she basically was explaining, one time she's like, well, if you can automate like doing this and this, Mom, can't we just build something that automates my homework? And I turned to her, I'm like, well, we could theoretically, yes, but why? And she's like, well, I want to play more. I'm like, okay, I understand you want to play more, but what happens when you need to actually do it on a test? And she's like, I'm like, you won't know how to do it. And she's like, oh, and so she's like, oh, and so I'm like, yeah, so let's not automate your homework, please. And I mean, I love it. It was one of these great moments, but it sounds so fun and childish. But then the other thing I run into is sometimes we do have moments. I know when we were building out our company, there's a lot of really cool things like with Codex and with Claude that I can do with coding. And the discussion I had with my CTO is like, well, do you think we could just do it all with this? I'm like, no, we can't. And the reason why is because I need legitimately to be able to go through and check it. I need somebody who knows the code and understands the code and can quality check the code. I've got another super good friend of mine. He and another one of my past coworkers have a startup they're doing, and he and I were talking about it. He's like, yeah, we do that. We use these automations and this code building, which is fantastic with these LMs. But he's like, but what we do is we actually review every piece of code. And then we make adjustments to it and then like get it put in. And he's like, and we can build so much faster than we used to build.
Right.
But he's like, but again, we don't want it building stuff we're not supposed to be building, which does happen with those, by the way. And he's like, and also it has to be the right quality and it has to do what we need it to do. And I mean, that was discussions when we started our company over a year ago, was how we were going to approach this. And so we do have a mix of like, yes, our engineers are able to build faster and more effectively, but we still have to have the engineers there to do the job. And
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And so it's one of those things, but it's again, taking the moment to slow down and know where you want to go. Because that is the cool thing in the AI field and in the automation field is we now have technology that makes it so I can go from 0 to 1,000. But that means it's even more important to be, as you would put it, intentional with where we are going.
You can't go 0 to 1,000 doesn't mean that you should go 0 to 1,000, even though you can.
Yeah, even though you can, it fails. If you don't do it right, you don't slow down enough to just make sure you know where we're going. And I love what you said with the ambition, because I'm like, no, I would say I'm a very ambitious person. And I know you are as well. And it's one of the reasons I think the two of us drive so well. But there's also that moment of it's something that can drive you and can be fantastic, but there has to be some moderation. And there has to be a moment where we check it and say, is this really just because I can go this way? When we first started the company, we were looking at funding options. And I had a conversation with one of our raise rounds with a company who said, well, we can raise you guys $2 million. I know we can get you at least that. And I said, no. And it was interesting because I said, well, why would you say no? I'm like, well, because what we've done is we purposely have done smaller rounds. Right. Because it's made it so we've been more accountable for what we've done with our funding. We've been more accountable for how we're choosing to use the funding. And it's forced us to be smarter. And I smile because that's almost counterintuitive to a lot of other startup owners, like startup founders I've known. But I've loved it because it's made us so that we've had to be smarter. We've had to make sure we're moving in the right direction. We've had to validate every step of the way. And to me, that is the responsible choice to make. And we're still moving ridiculously fast. How quickly we have 2 products live on the market right now. And we have a third one that's in design. Like, we are moving very quickly and very effectively. But again, it's very intentional. And we're making sure that while we're going 0 to 1,000, we are pointed in the right direction. And it's hard.
Sarah, where's fear coming here? Because on the show we talk about fear all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Fear being the, kind of like the opposite of joy. Yeah. So where do you think fear is driving this need for everything to move faster, and how is it showing up for you in your world, in your own personal world and business?
So with that, like, fear is there. You have new releases coming out all the time. In my world, one of the things that I always smile with AI is to a large point, it is a marketing gimmick, is you'll have these LLMs come out and like, oh yeah, we can't release this yet because the world's not ready. And I'm like, okay, the first time I might believe that, but every other month, this is happening. Thank you. And from a tech side, I wonder if they're using it to delay releases because it's not quite ready yet. But this is a great way to put a public spin on this. But there are people they're worried about, like, is it going to take over? And that fear is there. And then there's also the fear of, well, if I don't get on the latest technology, if I don't use the latest model, oh no, we're going to be outperformed over here. Or did we build this right? Did we build the right thing right now? And this happens. And it's there's reasonable concerns, like, are we at the top of the field? Are we where we need to be? Yeah. But again, I run back and always ask the question, what are we building and what value is it adding? And the interesting part with that is, if you have that piece, if you can take a moment and slow down and say, it's not that I need to be at the top of the precipice. I don't have to have the latest and greatest technology. It's nice to have it, and I'm all for it. Right. But if I'm asking, what real world problem is being solved? Where is this value? And then, I mean, I've worked with a lot of companies that are like EOS, operating systems based, and other things like this, where they have pillars that they set up. I know we have pillars on the show that we focus on.
Yes. Yep.
And one of my biggest checks you run into is, are you making these decisions out of fear? Because if you are, you're going to ignore those values that you've set.
Oh my gosh.
If you are aligned with those values, then it is not a fear-driven decision. And that is a lot of times where I find, like, what are the values that you're working for? What are we trying to accomplish this from a very high level? And if it's not defined, that's where people get scared. And I mean, I've seen companies dump millions into automation projects that they had no business doing anything with.
Oh my gosh.
But it was
crazy.
Because it was out of fear, though. And they was like, oh no, we have to do this. Because I'm like, and I remember being on the other side where I was in as an advisor, and I was saying, this is not a good choice. You do not want to spend this money here. There are better options and things that would be worth putting this money into. Mm-hmm. And them ignoring me because they were so scared. And then $4 million later, I'm so sorry, we should have listened. And I mean, it's that type of a thing where you're like,
that alone is scary.
Yeah, it is. Well, and what scares me too is that they just throw that money around, don't think about it sometimes. But it is crazy. And I look at it, I'm like, we just need to take a moment and just really evaluate, like, where are our values? What really matters to us? And then on a personal level, like, how is this helping me become who I want to be? I love 5-year plans. And I also think they should be revised every year. Like, this is where I want to be 5 years from now. But then you have a moment where, like, once a year, you need to look back and say, did I learn something new that makes me want to reevaluate this? Like,
wow. But, it's so funny because as I was listening to you, everything you were talking about as far as, organizations and them making decisions from fear and not slowing down, it is the same exact thing for us as human beings in our life, no?
Yeah, no, it is. It is exactly the same. And it really has, what's been funny is my experiences over the last several years have really made me sit down and reevaluate, why am I doing what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. And why am I putting effort where I'm putting effort in? And I mean, I've got 3 girls and I love them. And it's one of the things too, that we have those conversations with them. And it's been, my 9-year-old was really upset over something the other day. somebody made fun of her. And she's like, well, they said I'm not good at this. And I laughed because this is the child who got perfect scores at piano competitions at age 9, who is also learning to play the flute, does horseback riding, is learned to ride bareback.
What?
And yeah, and is a good soccer player and does all these things. And I sat back and I'm like, honey, first of all, you don't have to be good at everything. Second of all, she's my oldest, so. And then I'm like, second of all, like, you need to listen to the voice in here, not the voice out there. And let's also kind of slow things down a little bit. Like, what is important? What does matter to you? And she's like, well, that doesn't really matter. I'm like, then why does it matter what they say about it?
Oh my God, it's so pragmatic.
And so, my poor kids.
It's hard.
It is hard, but it's one of those things that, like, let's take a serious hard look at things from where our perspective is, because personally, it matters the most is what is that inner value coming from, and what is driving it, because fear should not be behind the wheel there.
Thank you.
Yeah, it needs to be values and strengths, because I mean, I look at some of the hardest times in my life. I've done some crazy stuff, but this is a good story for you. I was I love the Teton. I worked in the Teton National Park for a long time and doing a lot of field research, lots of fun stories. But I decided to do a hike through Static Peak, and usually it's a 2 to 3 backpacking day excursion. Okay. I didn't have 2 to 3 days, so I did it in 10 hours.
Sarah.
It was nuts. It was so much fun though. But no, it was 16 hours, not 10. It was 16 hours. Let me not be too cool here. It was 16 hours. So I got like at 4 a.m. and got back at like 11 p.m. at night. And I remember I got to the point where I had hit the summit of Static Peak. And I had been moving fast. Like, I was ahead of schedule. I had seen all these cool things. I had these really cool pictures I had taken. I had an encounter with a moose, which is like the scariest encounter you can have. They kill the most people in North America. But it was amazing, absolutely wonderful. And I hit the top of this peak and my legs just about went out from under me. And the trail is like legit like this wide.
Eek.
And I just remember having my mind, and maybe this is something too, is I remember having this thought of, if I do not slow down, I will plummet to my death. And so I had to make myself slow down and go down, and it got a little sketchy, and I might have started singing some church songs to keep myself
to keep yourself together.
Keep myself together, get through this. But you know what? I look back at that moment, and it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. Because I had gone fast. If you look at it from almost a roadmap of life, I had that ambition. I had pushed hard. I had done great. But I also learned that during that time, to be able to finish that ambitious thing of completing this entire insane trail that usually takes people 3 days in one day, I had to make myself slow down so I could succeed. And I remember I got down off that really sketchy portion, and I got back down to like almost like this valley, and that valley I'd hiked in that place multiple times because it was part of where I was doing research, and it never looked so beautiful to me as it did as soon as I got off that. And I went fast again. But it is those moments where sometimes in order to to actually accomplish that ambition or those goals, or to stay true to what we need to do, we do need to take that moment and slow down, maybe sing some church songs to ourselves or something to keep ourselves together. But we have to be able to do that in order to really succeed. And I think that's also part of it. I mean, with AI, it's the same policy, or automations. We need to slow down. We need to make sure we know what we're doing, and then we can go full throttle. And sometimes we need to take a moment and reevaluate, why are we up here? I mean, I definitely had some reevaluation where I was clinging to the side of the cliff. Why did I choose to do this again?
Why am I doing why am I here?
Why am I here?
Wow. But my friend.
It's good. Yeah.
Guess what?
We had time. Yep, we are.
Girl, we were at time 5 minutes ago.
Oh, sorry.
Don't be sorry. I told you this was going to happen.
I know. We knew it was going to happen.
You know what that means?
Yep.
That means you have to come back.
I'm happy to come back anytime.
Oh, where can folks find you? This was such a great conversation. I always learn so much whenever we talk, so and you were getting a whole bunch of love in the chats. Ingrid was saying, I love that this is a thoughtful interpretation of how AI can be used in a very real way. And Mariko said she absolutely loved this conversation. You know, I mean, like, you're getting love all throughout the chat, throughout our conversation. So I just want to let you know that.
Oh, thank you, everyone. And back at you guys. No, LinkedIn, just Sara L. Reece. You guys can pull me in. I'd be happy to talk with you guys. Anybody who's got questions or just wants to talk about AI or just taking a moment, just let me know. And I'm happy to have conversations and talk with you guys. But Sheryl, thank you so much.
Oh, I think that Mildred put up your site there for everybody. So it's beautiful. You're doing beautiful work. Thank you for not just being an amazing friend, but also for sharing your brilliant mind with us, Sara. I could tell you easily, I'm sure I'm not alone, that the world definitely needs not just more, I mean, from the AI perspective and technology, more leaders like you who are being responsible and intentional about all the amazing, amazing tools that are at our fingertips. But then also just from a personal perspective, how you're raising your daughters and the thoughtfulness that you're putting into the world through those little human beings. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Sheryl. And it is a pleasure. I smile because a lot of the intention. So the last several months, I've learned to be more intentional because of watching this show and reading your book and some of the other wonderful people I've met. So I really do appreciate it because I think you get in the world what you pull out of it.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you. Much love, my friend.
Yeah, you
we
too.
will talk soon. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll tell you, have a great day. Get some rest.
Oh, I will. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Sara. Good to see you, my friend.